Hello and welcome to the Scottish Roadscast, a podcast all about Scotland's roads, bridges and motorways. I'm John Hassall and I'm joined by my good friend and colleague Stuart Baird. How are you, Stuart?
Hi John, I'm good. It's good to see you.
Well, it's good to see you too. Happy New Year, by the way.
Oh yeah, Happy New Year. Is it too late to say that now?
No, it's fine. Still, January. I actually haven't seen you, so it's okay. If it was February, maybe. But
that would be pushing it a bit. You know, you say obviously New Year. I was just thinking earlier that I think this is the 9th year of our podcasting.
Almost a 10-year anniversary.
Imagine.
Does that mean we'll have to make a booklet about the podcast?
Yeah, we should. Yeah. 10 years of Scottish Roadscast.
Pictures of us
and its
when we were
predecessors. Aye.
But it's a new year, and it's always a good time to refresh on the news of what's happening. And we hear all the time, Stuart, and this is quite negative, we don't build anything anymore. Yeah. Where are all the new roads? I mean, it's this great pessimism we seem to have all the time. Oh, all we're doing is the A9. It's not true. There are loads of little road projects, some of them not so little, happening up and down Scotland.
It's true. I mean, there is a bit of a construction boom in local authorities with new roads at the moment. And I think a lot of that has sort of gone unnoticed.
We got the big one at the Crosstay Link Road, which opened last year. But there are so many more that are currently being built and or about to start this year. We think it's a good idea to have a podcast just to talk about all the little schemes that sort of fall through the cracks when we talk about things.
Yes, absolutely. It's definitely time. I think we had a bit of a deep dive into it.
Yeah.
You've got some impressive looking notes in front of you.
A lot of them in. I'm doing most of the talking. I know you're going to pick up on some of the ones in Lanarkshire, but we'll give our thoughts on things where we can. All of this information that we've got, it's in the public domain. Yeah. It's been sourced online. With you, if we have anything extra and above, well, can't be validated, I suppose.
Yeah.
But,
and I did have a question for you.
Okay. Already?
Yeah. The Envision podcast. What did you think of it? Did you enjoy that experience? We've not had a chance to talk about it since
I'm not the one to
released.
I'm not the one to rate it. I'd probably say all the people who were listening or watching it. What did they think of it? Yeah, I did. I felt more comfortable doing it. Just the way that the setup was.
Yeah.
And I've been working really hard to lose lots of weight in the lead up to it because I knew people were actually going to see me. So it didn't look like this big ball sitting there.
On the Ozempic?
Yeah, no, I'm not on the Ozempic, but I wasn't breathing in or anything.
Not that fat. Well, the feedback that I've had from most people that have mentioned it to me is that none of us look like they imagined. Now, I don't know whether that's good or bad.
Did you see the comment? There was a comment on YouTube about Hunkin' Duncan.
Hunkin' Duncan. What was it? I'd like to get funkin' drunken with Hunkin' Duncan.
Yeah.
In
something. It's going to get rude. We should stop there. But that is definitely not one of us. So Duncan got a compliment. Still yet to see one about us. But no, I thought it was very good. I thought it sounded great.
It did.
And it's nice for people to see what we look like, I guess.
I suppose so. Anyway, sorry. I thought I'd ask you about that before we get into this subject.
But we'll work through all these projects. There's quite a lot of them, and I've kind of split them up into a north, central, and south. After that, we have a little feature which you're going to do, Stuart, on our From the Archive, which is something no one has heard about.
Oh, yeah.
But we will talk about that at the end.
We will. We'll pick that up after you've did your big update.
Yes, exactly. So let's start in the north, and it is a trunk road scheme, this one.
Okay.
This is the A9 82 Longman Roundabout.
Is that the one at the bottom end of the Keswick Bridge?
Yes, the Sheriff Hall in the north, as I call it.
Okay.
Very busy, and especially like on match days and stuff like that. Most traffic, I do believe, when I've used it, is generally staying on the A9 and going through, but it does tend to queue.
Oh, that's right. That football stadium's there, isn't it? Inverness.
It is.
Cali. Aye. Yeah.
The upgrade essentially is going to provide a flyover. They've chosen what design they're going to do. There are still ambitions to do this, and the Scottish Government reaffirmed its commitment to the scheme in the Infrastructure Delivery Pipeline document, which has only just come out.
Oh, that's good.
I can't really find any news, though, on when it's going to start?
I think from the Highland Council perspective, there might have been one or two other priorities that have come up the list first. I know they were sort of focusing on the replacement Corran ferry, so I don't know whether they've maybe moved that up the list and maybe Longman sort of dropped down. I guess Longman maybe could come as part of like the wider A96, A9 improvements.
Just about to get to this. And I think the problem up there, right, is there is a city region funding deal also going on with Inverness that's kind of intermingled with some of these trunk road schemes. Now, there are other trunk road schemes up there, such as the A9, A96 connection study. Have you heard of that one? It was also part of the kind of Smithton to Inches.
Oh, the Inch. I know it as Inches to Smithton.
Yes. Now, I'm not sure on this as a speculation, but it could be that Scottish Government maybe decide to roll all of this, including Longman, into one package. So, do you remember the, well, of course you remember it, but the M74, M8, M73 upgrade? Yeah. They were separate schemes. They put them all into one thing. I don't know. That's just speculation.
It's very possible.
They could go, well, actually, let's just bundle this all up as a big package and do it then, rather than keeping it apart. But no, not really any news on when that's going to start. I know it's going to be a flyover that they're going to put in.
That's good. That'll get traffic flowing. I know summer Friday afternoons can be a problem southbound.
Yes.
On the Keswick Bridge.
Now, you and Duncan are getting together to discuss the A9 again, particularly about future at some point this year.
That's right.
Can you remember this and discuss it with him? Because
I will try.
It's just one to watch over the year. And Duncan, obviously, he stays up in Inverness. He's going to know a lot more about some of these things. So I don't want to go and say a whole lot of stuff here and take a step back.
Let him deal with that. Okay, that's fine. Noted. It's on my list.
However, sticking in the north, we've got the I've mentioned A96. We have the A96 dualling Inverness to Nairn.
Yeah.
They decided what they were going to do with this a long time ago, all right, which is a kind of a full dual carriageway, almost motorway standard expressway from Inverness to the east side of Nairn, incorporating sort of a bypass of that. They've chosen what they want to do. There was a bit of a process with some of the objections, but I believe they're cleared. But I think it's come down to financial commitments now.
Yeah, that scheme is fully cleared. Statutory process.
Statutory process is
the
complete.
land is now all owned by the Scottish Government. So it is just a case of getting it built.
Okay, there's good news. The Scottish Government have committed to this.
Okay.
As part of, that document I mentioned earlier. When? Not sure. It's obviously a very, very expensive. This job.
It's a long piece of road. Will that dwarf even the Aberdeen Western peripheral route?
No.
By length? No, is it still? No, it's still been longer.
It won't do, and that also has some pretty major structures on it.
Yeah.
On that one there. So no, it's not quite as big as that, but it's very, very high spec.
Okay.
The cost estimates, the problem is because this scheme's a little bit older, the estimates in the times have gone up massively with this one. So it's a tricky one. It is sort of finding the money, but the government remain very much committed to it. And Stuart, I've driven on that section relatively recently, and it's very congested. Yeah. And the journey time speed, they're very, very slow. Yeah. And there's no resilience on it either.
Is the old road to be retained as a side road?
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Interesting. Okay. There's massive developments going on up there at Ardassia. There's the Ardassia port, which is one of these big renewable energy offshore wind hubs that they're building. So that it's only, and also just outside Nairn, there's a large housing estate being which is finished. There's new roundabout there.
A lot of sprawl.
Yeah. The thing is, the A96 now, especially in that section, is just picking up more and more and more roundabouts and interruptions as it goes through. It's slowing the whole thing down. So, no. Good news is, very much committed. It will, I believe it will happen. It just might not start until...
For a wee while. Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't have any information here that people couldn't find out online, put it that way.
Okay.
So, other one in the north, but switching over to the east, is Lawrencekirk.
E90.
So, this is an at-grade junction on the A90 at Lawrencekirk, and there's long been calls for this to have a flyover. To it's a safety improvement to the junction. The good news is, as I keep saying, they have committed to this, that they want to do it. But it doesn't look like it's in a position to start any time too soon. Scottish Government remains committed to the job, but it's found itself within the post-2030 delivery pipeline.
All right, okay, so there is a sort of a time frame for that one.
Yes. Now, you remember this one got mired in some objections and issues with the local authority, which I believe was to do with some bridge at OT Hill, which was which was a former disused railway bridge or something. These have all been resolved. The council have kind of withdrawn a lot of the issues that they've had with it. So that's done. It's just that the stuff's going on in the background to complete compulsory purchases to get it ready in the same way that they have with the A96 to Nairn. But it's also connected to the Aberdeen City deal.
Ah, right. Oh, that's good. So that's the funding stream for it then.
Funding stream, hopefully, for those ones. But no talk about it starting anytime soon.
Okay. We can revisit that one in future then.
Yeah. But it's still there. It's not dead. You know. So
good.
I will be speaking about one that I do think is dead later on, but there you go. I don't want to go over ones that are just never going to happen. So, also sort of the north, but also the central. Brief mention on the 82. Right. You know how they have a plan to improve the section between Tarbert and Inveranen?
Oh, the Loch Lomond side stretch.
Yeah. Still there is a commitment. Ground investigation contracts have been let for it, which is normally they do these like years in advance. They've already, like for Sheriff Hall, they were done years ago.
Right.
You know, so they wouldn't be doing that if they weren't serious about it.
No.
So not much news other than that, unless you've heard anything or seen anything.
I mean, I know it's still committed, but that's kind of it as far as I'm aware.
There is Rest and Be Thankful as well,
which is obviously a priority.
Big priority that they're going to do, where they're doing the sort of tunnel shield. They thought about putting a viaduct down the middle of the glen, but it's going to be a sort of
big long rock shelter.
Rock shelter setup. That's probably the line they're going to go down. You know, to sort that out. It just seems to be it's very unlucky what goes on that road. Is every time we get a landslip, it then happens somewhere else. You know, so we fix the bits and then it just.
And the council road down to Dunoon has had a few as well recently.
Yeah. I got stuck on that peninsula because of that.
You got trapped one wet October weekend.
Deary me. I know.
Trapped in Dunoon. I don't know if there's anything worse than that.
Actually, I liked it. It's just the weather was pretty bad, but it's a nice part of the world.
Yeah. Yep.
Move on to central area now. Bertha Park Link Road.
Where?
It's Perth. Right, okay. So, remember last year we had the wonderful new Destiny Bridge on the Crossstay Link Road open?
Yes.
Right?
Great bit of road.
Love it. Great bit of road.
Very high specification, built to very high standard. Not thrown up for the cheapest possible price.
It doesn't have that developer look to it. It's like, a proper good old-fashioned seat.
Yeah.
Shame about the speed limit.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
That's it. But I get it. We've moaned about that already. So this whole Cross Tay link road is part of the Perth Transport Futures. There are sort of like a few phases of this. The first part was what they'd done at the junction at St Johnstone. You know, the junction between Inverarmond and Broxton.
That's right. They made some improvements.
They made improvements to that junction. Now, this road only went so far, which is up to Bertha Park. And then they switched over to the other side, built the new Destiny Bridge, all the connections at the top there. But there's a gap between them. And this is the Bertha Park Link Road. So this started being constructed in May 2025, costing $13.2 million. It's only 1 mile long. The contractor is Balfour Beatty. They reckon they should have it completed and open by the end of this year.
Nice.
It's part, like I said, of the Perth Transport Futures, and it will link the whole thing up. So this forms a bypass for Inverarmond. So what you'll do is if you're heading north on the A9, you can come off at the St Johnstone Junction. You'll be able to take this link road, and you will emerge on the brand new Destiny Bridge, or you can just join the A9. And go that way.
Okay. Now, I realised something was happening when I went up last June to have a nosy at the completed Cross Tay link.
Yes.
And I noticed that something was going on to the west because we could only go so far to turn round the roundabout and double back. But I thought, that looks as though something's getting built beyond that. Okay.
There's May. They started it. They reckon they should have it done. Expensive though, 13.2 million for 1 mile of road. That is
these days.
Yep.
Don't get much for 13 million anymore.
No.
Yeah.
That's annoying. Right, we've not spoken about this, so I reckon this might have gone completely under our radar. Picked up a little bit about this at work. it's called the Perth West development. Okay,
I can't say I've heard of this one either.
So this is up just west of Broxton roundabout, and it's a large industrial development, but does have an interesting road element.
Right.
There is a large mixed-use industrial technology development that will have over 25 hectares of land for advanced logistics and a living lab centre to host academic research, as well as a 20-megawatt solar park serving the development in Perth. So, sounds great, right? It was first approved all the way back in 2021, and it's currently undergoing its final design. So I'm not sure when they're going to start building all this, but there will be a new grade separator junction on the A9.
Another one?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's just south of Broxton, where this
south of Broxton?
So south of Broxton. Currently there, I think it's just a local access road, but they're going to be putting a grade separated junction, which is sort of like a Lilo that'll look quite similar to like Spectacles in some way, with a couple of roundabouts.
Right.
That could change as designs progress. When do you think about this? Because I've looked at the plans, and this park goes right up against the development area of Broxton. Do you think this could sink any intentions to provide grade separation at Broxton?
I wouldn't think so.
You think that would have been considered?
You would hope so.
Yeah, because it always worries me when I see things like this. I think this junction is absolutely crucial to go in, because if you try and add another arm to Broxton or something like that, that'll just screw everything up.
I'm surprised Broxton is not signalised.
Don't know if it's needed, to be honest with you.
But do you think you could buy yourself another decade of traffic by signalising it?
There's only one problem at Broxton. It's where the M90 is going northbound onto it. That's where the big issue is.
You could stick a couple of filter lanes in as well, just hatch them off. You could even use lining for that.
Yeah.
Lane one up the A9, continuing onto the A9 with it actually stopping in the roundabout. And, these things are such things.
The problem is, it's a bit of a fast roundabout, and that can cause queuing because people don't want to go out.
But I've had the experience there where you're coming from Perth, coming out of the services at Broxton, and you try to rejoin the roundabout, and it can be a nightmare because it's like you've got vehicles flying at you from all directions.
Yes. So, I don't know, to be honest with you. I want to fly over, but I'm not sure what way it should go. This is always the thing we do, is like, should it be A9 to M90, or should it be A9 to A9?
I know that M90 section does have a lot of congestion on it at times.
See, from 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's queuing northbound on the M90.
I mean, even 10 years ago, that was not the case.
It's bad there.
Okay.
And I don't know if traffic lights will help it.
Okay. Interesting.
Because the other thing is you could prioritise and have them more on a green phase there. They'll just start backing up on every other direction.
On the A9,
where it didn't.
Southbound A9 or coming out of Perth,
just doesn't suit it. So anyway, long story short, the A9 is getting another grade separated junction just to the south of Broxton.
Okay.
Which is part of this development.
Interesting. I'll need to go and do some Googling on that one.
Could talk about fan favourite here.
Okay.
When I say fan favourite, I mean us too. Oars Road.
Barhead.
Barheads. Yeah, Barheads and Newton Mearns. We have spoken about it before. So just to remind everyone who's listening, this is the road between Barhead and Newton Mearns that skirts the reservoir. It's being realigned. A weak bridge is being completely replaced as well. That's where most of the cost is, I think. With all sorts of amenities like cycling and walking paths added to it, including a lovely promenade.
That'll be nice. I mean, they're straightening the road out as well, aren't
Completely.
they?
Yeah.
But that road's always been a nightmare. I remember the day we drove that road, the day we almost got run off the road. We were driving up, we'd been nosing about the M77, and we took a bend, and we were heading for there, and some guy came flying around the corner.
Oh, I remember that, yeah. I do remember. That was Oars Road.
That was Oars Road. Or just to the east of Oars Road, certainly.
You were driving, because I remember that, because you went mental. That was it.
No. It was very calm.
That's right. You went, oh, crumbs. Please take care, sir. Yeah, that was the language that was used. This was originally meant to be completed last year. This has been delayed.
Yes, I feel for them. I do feel for them.
I don't know why. But it's John Graham Construction doing this one, isn't it?
So I think there's been a lot of unforeseen difficulties with services and things, and
building next to a reservoir as well.
Easy. I know. I have a degree of sympathy with them. You know, it's not easy.
But they had the whole thing shut. At least they don't have to worry about traffic management.
Exactly.
Because it's been quite a disruptive, annoying thing. That
it'll be open 3 weeks and everybody will have forgotten about the disruption because of how good it is.
You mean like Edinburgh trams?
Exactly. Aye.
Oh, we don't want the trams. Oh, these are great. Why didn't we have them?
We want more of them.
Oh no, this is annoying. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Do you reckon it make a big difference?
Yes. Well, you think about it. Barhead from the east, right, is kind of cut off. And if you even go way back to the Greater Glasgow Transportation Study of 66, 67, you'll see Barhead was prioritised for improved connections even then.
Yeah.
You know, you can look at it on the wall. You'll see there was expressways and all sorts going into Barhead. And then that all got cancelled very quickly, and then Barhead was just left. Now, if you're trying to leaving Barhead from the north, you know, heading for the A726, all right, fine. But if you're looking to go anywhere else, join the strategic motorway network or whatever, you know, you haven't to go all the way through parts of Glasgow, you know, southwest Glasgow to get to the motorway. This will make a nice quick link up to Junction 5 at the M77 at Maiden Hill, and then you could go East Kilbride down to the M74, M77 head north. South.
I don't know if it's not capacity improvement.
No, but they're improving the resilience and the general feel of the road.
Yeah, I think it'll look impressive. I'm looking forward to seeing it when it's done. Do you know what I feel for at the moment? You know, because it's shut and everybody, I don't know what route people are having to take in the meantime.
Can just imagine. Yeah,
it's probably brutal for the people who live along there. Annoying for all the commuters that have to use it. So I'll be like,
probably
nice to
having to go to Darnley and then along the 726 to the Hurlet and then back in that way.
Yeah. So, should be done this year by spring. So it'll be something we can go and have a drive and look at.
We will drive it, and maybe we could do a wee update after we have.
Yes, exactly.
Sounds good.
Good. Okay, Stuart. We are moving on to kind of your neck of the woods now, and this is the Ravenscraig Infrastructure Access South.
We're into Lanarkshire now.
Yeah, and now they had a consultation in November 2025 about this.
Yeah.
There's a couple of phases. I'm sure you can take over and tell us all about them here.
Yeah, let me do this bit then. So we have the Ravenscraig Infrastructure Access South, which to those who are familiar with the Motherwell area will know that is basically the link road from Motherwell Civic Centre into the Ravenscraig site. So it's a long piece of dual carriageway that will link the top of Airbells Road through under the West Coast main line, and the railway bridge was built back in 2022 to enable that, through the site, and then link up with the existing dual carriageway where it ends at the Ravenscraig Regional Sports Centre.
Yeah.
And it's always been intended that the dual carriageway would continue from there to Motherwell and then down Airbells Road. The other component to this is the dualling of the final section of Airbells Road at the Strathclyde Park, Hamilton Road Junction.
3-lane at the moment.
So it's 2+1 at the minute, and it has been for, maybe about 30 years, maybe longer than that now, and that dualling will get done as well. So this is more or less set to go. However, with costs and things increasing, they have done a value engineering exercise. Now, basically what that means is they're trying to save a bit of money on the scheme. And in fairness to them...
It's a great euphemism.
Yeah, they've done a fair job. They have reduced the size of the big roundabout that's now proposed outside the Civic Centre at the top of Airbells Road. The footprint of that has been vastly reduced, but they've actually done it in such a way that they're not reducing the capacity. Right. So they will still have 3 lanes all the way around it. So it's going to be
just a bit tighter.
Yeah, a bit tighter. But they've managed to eliminate a couple of big retaining walls. They were worried that it would maybe impact on the visual amenity of the Civic Square and all that. That's all now been reduced. So they've done
I'm
all
so
that.
surprised they're doing a roundabout. It's a bit old school. I thought it'd be like flat signalised.
Yeah, North Lanarkshire don't tend to go for that.
I know. So I was driving through here to get here today. I don't see 120 limit round here.
Yeah.
They do seem to be very much like, no, this is the way we do things.
Yeah, and just kind of stuck to that. No,
it's great.
So that's that component of it. Now the easy bit is the new road into Ravenscraig, because most of it's through the empty Ravenscraig site. So the anticipated let for the construction contract is later this year. Some of the ground investigations I think have started already. So that's good to know. Now, the Airbells Road section was also value engineered. And what that has meant is that there were a few things that they were going to do down there that they're now not doing. So
I've seen it.
So at Tinker's Lane, that was going to be made one way, and it would be left in, left out. But they've now changed that, and the entrance to the sort of Green Acres housing estate, that will be signalised now.
Yes.
So that will be in and out, whereas before that access was going to get closed. Tinkers Lane was going to be made one way left in, left out only, and everything was going to be sent in via the Abels Farm Road.
How do you feel about that? Would you have preferred they stuck to the original of almost making it quite limited access?
Yes.
Me too, because that seemed better to...
Yeah. So now what we're going to have is, all right, they were going to signalise the Abels Farm Road.
It's another interruption.
It's another interruption. As you come up the hill as well, so you've got quite a gradient on that hill.
Yeah.
So it's just going to slow things down quite a bit.
But I bet you people moaned.
They probably did.
You're building this thing here, but now we can't use it. It's a usual thing.
Yeah,
you know?
And likewise, by the way, at the top end of the big roundabout of the Civic Centre, Mance Road was going to be stopped up and closed off. But now, because of the reduction of the size of the roundabout, they're going to be able to maintain that and actually have it as an additional leg on the roundabout.
Yeah.
So there's been a bit of feedback, I think, from the public, and they've probably listened to that, and that's why some of these wee tweaks have been made as part of this wider value engineering exercise. But I'm really hoping that this is it. They had another consultation in November that ran until Christmas. Hopefully, get it done.
Yeah.
Get it done.
Get it done, indeed.
Yes.
Okay, no worries.
And that's all City Deal funded.
That's all City Deal funded.
Council have put up a big amount of money for that as well.
Before we move on to the next Lanarkshire one, I'm going to chuck you a curveball here. What about the A723 dualling?
So Ravenscraig Infrastructure Access North,
Yeah.
which was the proposal to dual the A723 from Carfin all the way up to Hollytown and up to the M8 at Chapel Hall. That was originally part of this deal, City Deal. However, with costs going up after COVID and Ukraine and all these things, they realised that it had become unaffordable.
Right.
So what they decided to do was keep the priority for the southern connection into Ravenscraig, which is essential, and also divert some of the money to the East Airdrie Link Road, which we're just about to come on to.
Okay.
So what that means is that any progress on the dualling has been paused for the moment, but it remains a council commitment.
So they have it
So
there.
hopefully they are...
Have they bought the land for it?
Yeah, they already... That road was built with dualling in mind.
Yeah.
So that was always planned. So when Strathclyde built that road in 1994, all the earthworks and stuff that were done for it were to enable future dualling.
And I know that railway bridge along it has a spare
done.
span.
That's right. That was done in 2014-15, that railway bridge. So it's all ready to go. So they just need funding for it.
Yeah.
So if you're a local MP and you have any, influence or an MSP, try and get some money that way. That'd be great to see that road dualled. Because in effect, what you would then have is a dual carriageway link from the M74 at Junction 6 up to the M8 at Chapel Hall.
Yes.
So it'd be an alternative to the 725. And it's all part of this pan-LAN, link
Yes.
that North Lanarkshire Council are promoting, so that they want to improve connections north to south through the council. It's one of those funny situations where North Lanarkshire as a local authority has great east to west connections, but has very poor north to south connections, even though the council is oriented in that sort of direction. It's a north to south authority. It's longer than it is wider.
Yeah, exactly. But ironically, they don't have the road for that, so I see why they're doing it. No, fair enough. You touched on the Airdrie East Link Road.
Yes.
What's the status of that? I know this is tied with the hospital, isn't it?
Yeah. So the East Airdrie Link Road now has a final route corridor.
Okay.
Stage 3 DMRB.
What type of route is it going to be?
It's a single carriageway route.
Right.
It bypasses Airdrie to the east. It passes between Airdrie and Plains, and then proceeds north. It circles round to bypass Stand to the west, and then connects with the existing A73 dual carriageway where it ends at Rigside? Rigend? I can't remember. But
I can't help because it's not my part of the world.
Towards Cumbernauld.
Okay.
So it'll connect with that up there. Now, like you say, the Monklands Hospital replacement site is at Western Moffat.
Okay.
Which is just to the east of Airdrie, and the new road is a key component of that, because without the road, access to that site would be problematic. So that's the main driver there, and I think they're looking to have the road open by 2030 or 2031. And the hospital is currently scheduled to open around the same time, but given capital funding restraints, I don't know how likely that is.
Better crack on with these things. Generally, with hospitals and things like that, they take a little bit longer than you think. So,
I mean, that's only 4 years away now. That's
some
a
of
long
these
piece of road.
Some of these are ambitious.
I should say, by the way, that the southern end of that East Airdrie Link Road is the roundabout immediately north of Newhouse Interchange on the M8. It's the one that links in with Lancaster Avenue. That's the Chapel Hall southern.
So Lancaster
bypass.
Avenue will link this Airdrie East Link Road
Mm-hmm.
to Ravenscraig infrastructure
Yes.
improvements north where
Yeah.
that's happened. So you have this road that goes
Yeah.
through that way.
And then obviously the infrastructure access south. So in effect, you will have a Motherwell Eastern bypass,
Yeah.
a high quality dual carriageway link between Motherwell and the M8, and then a new road technically between the M8 and the M80.
Yeah.
So you've got a nice single corridor. So even if the
That'd be
A723 dualling doesn't go ahead, it's still a key component of the overall thing.
Yeah,
so you can
just
see why
Airdrie-
these other two are the more important.
Airdrie needs bypassed.
Yeah, the A73 is a nightmare. Total nightmare. It must be the most dug up road in Scotland. No joke.
Surfaces and everything.
Every other week there's temporary traffic signals or
We
some
we
restrictions.
seem to be plagued by roadworks at the moment. A lot of it. I know it's the time of year. It is this season, but it's worse every year.
Yeah.
You know,
Creaking infrastructure being upgraded. And by infrastructure there I mean utilities. And,
and other things like that. These guys are busy. Okay, back to me. Very small little job here, but you might not have noticed it. It's on the A78. Have you been down at Inverkip lately?
No, I haven't.
There was a job there that was a £4 million job. I do believe it was funded by some of the city region stuff, but it was to improve the junction at Inverkip on the A78 by reducing the speed limit through there to 40. It was national speed limit.
Oh.
And they've put traffic lights in there with also some left turn lanes and stuff like that.
Is this where the old power station used to be?
No, the marina.
What, the marina?
This is at the marina.
Okay. So
this
north
one.
of the power station.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right. It's more of I'd say it's like a minor improvements thing. It sort of sits in that category.
Right.
When we say minor improvement, that's a bit of a work term, isn't it? For like a very
A minor intervention.
a minor intervention somewhere rather than like a big road project.
Yeah.
Probably quite welcome for the people of Inverkip who have to try and get out in that junction because it was a national speed limit and before and then trying to turn across.
If you had an expensive yacht in there, I'm sure you'd be outraged at having to wait to rejoin the main road.
Well, yeah, that's it. There are other things at Inverkip which I'll touch on just now, but yes, there is another development just slightly further, but that's a third-party development where they have put in a new junction just at Brewacre. It doesn't have traffic lights on it yet.
I'm not hearing good things about this junction.
No, it's not. It's an abomination. I don't like it at all.
Okay.
They've done something with the speed limit here I don't like, but the speed limit is basically now 40 all the way from Inverkip to Weems Bay, all the way through, and it feels slow.
That will be slow going.
Yeah, it's not great, to be honest with you, but the world is not a museum. Things are getting built, stuff is changing, so yeah. I'll discuss the A78 in future very soon, though, and we'll talk a little bit more about that junction at Brewacre.
Yeah.
Sticking with the Inverclyde area, though, we do have the A8 Bullring, which is part of the Central Greenock redevelopment project, which is this is a levelling up funding, so it's not trunk road. I don't think it's region deal. It's sort of levelling up.
That's right. It was a very separate scheme.
A separate thing. Now, we've spoken about it before. You've certainly been down there and taking pictures because you know it's coming out soon.
Given how unique Bullring was and the fact that it was built as part of comprehensive development in the 70s and all very much part of that, we thought it would be really worthwhile getting a good photo survey of that just to record what had been there.
Okay. No, it's good because it's happening now. So preparatory works for this have begun with the demolition of parts of the Oak Mall and Hector McNeil House in January 2026. If you go down there, they're starting to do some of this stuff. That's phase one of it. They will then move on to removing the A78 flyover that goes over the Oak Mall and then the Bullring roundabout itself. So that elevated road that goes over the shopping centre, that's going to get removed. The aim is to replace the entire setup there with a flat at-grade roundabout. It will be signalised, connecting the A8 and A78 with the local roads and stuff like that, without the sort of tangle of underpasses and concrete barriers and stuff like that was there
not
before.
Particularly nice, to be honest.
They were interesting, but the whole area felt a little bit hemmed in. It will include a new entrance to the Oak Mall, so it's all being done under this, and a sort of large pedestrian plaza, public realm type things that's there. It looks all very nice in the visualizations.
Greenock's one of those places that I do feel sorry for from the retail perspective, because even 25 years ago it was a major regional shopping hub.
A lot of it's moved to Port Glasgow now, where they've got that new retail park next to Tesco.
But it's a real shame because, Greenock Town Centre was pretty decent in its day.
Mm-hmm.
It was all right. You didn't have to go far to get what you needed.
It's always benefited from being relatively self-contained. A bit like Livingston.
Mm-hmm.
You've got everything there. Don't really need to leave it.
Yeah.
But Port Glasgow's stolen it a bit with their retail park.
Yeah.
So
it is a shame. I do feel for them. Yeah.
It's costing 24 million this job, removing the whole thing and replacing it. And Balfour BT are doing the works.
Good. So it should happen quickly then.
How do you feel about it? Overall, you're quite positive about it?
Well, I never liked that roundabout. It's like you say, everything round about it was cut off. It was
from a pedestrian. But I do like it as a driver. Do you know what? Bullring doesn't get congested.
No, but
it doesn't.
But it's not going to get congested in its new form either, because there'll be so little traffic using those other links that are going to connect it. I don't think it will make much difference.
Also, well, I suppose they're not creating journey options, I suppose, are they? But also that end of the A8, it's the end of the route.
Yeah.
That end of the 78, it's the end of the route.
Most people are going to continue to turn left and use the A78.
We'll see. I think capacity has been reduced from a road perspective, though. Definitely.
But like you say, it was never congested, so it didn't need it all.
But it might be now. We'll see. They're hoping to have it done by 2027.
So next year. All right. I mean, it shouldn't take long. There's no major structures or anything like that involved in it. So.
No, they're not building ones. This is more of a demolition job.
It is demolition and clean-up.
Demolition and clean-up.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a car park in the middle of that roundabout, and I don't think I've seen more than 2 or 3 cars in it for the last 10 years. At a time. We never have passed, certainly.
That's because they charge you a fortune down there now. So, right. Got another one. This one's on the 82. It's quite a big project, but we've not spoken about it before. This is the Bowling Strategic Development Site, another city region deal.
This one I've heard of recently because they had a bit of milestone recently.
They did. It was very cool. It used to be called the Exxon Bowling Site. Presumably
the oil. Yeah.
For oil.
Some of our old Erskine Bridge photos that we post, you see the old oil
facilities there.
Yeah.
This is a road that runs parallel to the 82 at Bowling. Now, it's a single carriageway spine road that's to serve a large technology industrial development on the north side of the Clyde. Again, built by Balfour BT. They're doing this one.
They're doing well.
Yeah. And it will tie into a slightly modified Dunglass roundabout. They are changing that slightly.
Which one's Dunglass again?
That's the one just next to the quarry.
Okay.
On the 82.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any traffic lights or anything like that on it yet, but they are doing some changes us there.
Right.
Where it ties in. And the junction along, which does have traffic lights at the garage, where it goes to the 814. So if you want to go into Dumbarton.
For Helensburgh, that road.
Yes. Yep. That's been completely changed as well.
Is it really?
Yes. The old bridge that passes over the cycle route will no longer be used there because there's actually a little bridge you go over there.
Right.
So they're making sort of 2 accesses to the... I'm trying to think of it as something that it's similar to, but there isn't really anything. You just have to go and see it. I would recommend people Google this one, Bowling Strategic Development Site, and go and have a look at what they're doing up at that junction. I do think it's better.
I only tend to be up that way in the summer.
Yeah.
If walking or whatever. For a visit.
They'll keep the traffic lights, of course, at the junction and the filter lanes and stuff like that. So the 82 is being modified
So
slightly.
Could this be used as a diversion should the 82 there be closed?
Yes.
That probably is helpful. Because I know that's always been an issue with that corridor, is that there are no alternative routes.
Yeah.
If something happens on the main road.
Yeah, you can nip off through this.
Right.
The job, though, for this spine road, although this isn't going to be a trunk road, it's not going to be the A82. Some people have thought that, like, will this be the new A82, meaning the road through Milton, and that will be... No.
Take up with the 814 or something, probably.
Yeah, it probably will. It's very expensive and difficult as it goes under and over the railway. So it crosses the railway twice.
Yeah.
There are also sort of other little structures and culverts and stuff like that.
Now, you know what? No, it's good to see that projects with these technical challenges are still happening or are happening again.
Yeah, but they they're so resourceful with this. Now, if you looked in December, they very quickly just took down the railway line. They had a preformed concrete box for the underpass, slid it into place, and then they had the rail line opening. Trains already running on it again now.
That's exactly what happened at Ravenscraig, where they went onto the West Coast Main Line. They built the bridge beside it, rolled it in on skates, cleared it all out, reopened within a few days.
Yep. That's an electrified line as well.
Brilliant.
So
can be done when we need to do it.
Yeah, they were very proud of this. They had it all over social media and stuff like that. So, yeah, you should go and Google that. Go and have a look at them putting in this bridge.
A lot of the councils seem to have learned that the best thing to do in these sorts of circumstances is just to let Network Rail deal with it.
Network Rail always want to design their own bridges.
Let them do it. Let them take all the liability, and then the structure they get. Brilliant. We like it, guys. We'll keep it. We'll maintain it. You build it. You put it in. My God, you'll have a protracted process of getting them to accept it.
Yeah, exactly. So,
been there, done that.
Well, some project management advice from Stuart there if you're ever working on such a thing.
Yeah, it makes sense because you've got all their accredited contractors and all that as well. And
yeah, they know who they're using and stuff.
Yeah.
The next one I'm going to talk about, we've spoke about this before, but maybe not this bit of it. This is AMIDS South. AMIDS South, which is Paisley, which is levelling up funding.
What's AMIDS?
It stands for Advanced Manufacturing Innovation District Scotland.
Oh, that's a mouthful.
It is. And this is all the stuff they were doing around the new roads that were built on the eastern side of Glasgow Airport. So, around Glasgow Airport, they realigned some of the roads there as you were going up towards the swing bridge. This is the south section of the stuff they're doing actually in Paisley, and it's pretty impressive.
Right. Okay.
And it started, okay? The money, although I say it's levelling up, it's costing about 59 million, but the money's coming from the council, levelling up, and Transport Scotland. Transport Scotland, I believe, are putting money towards the bridge on this one here.
Okay.
Let me just list exactly what's happening here. What this project involves is a road bridge crossing at Paisley Harbour. So this is Harbour Road to Inshinnan Road in Paisley for pedestrians, cyclists and road traffic. This bridge looks pretty cool. It's like the one that goes in Irvine. It's like big arches with cables on it. That sort of design. Not too dissimilar from the Squinty Bridge, but without the squintiness. A gateway route will also be formed from Paisley Town Centre along Abercorn Street, Harbour Road and Inshinnan Road to the Manufacturing District, AMIDS and Glasgow Airport, including new cycle routes and landscaping. A new road link from Renfrew Road to Harbour Road, which will serve the new Paisley Grammar School community campus and connect to the new bridge. This will create a new junction at the site of the former Shivers building on Renfrew Road. Are you kind of following where this is, or are you just having a quick Google?
I'm just having a quick Google because I'm trying to...
You've not been to Paisley for a while.
It's been a while, and okay, so this looks as though it's going to be quite sensible. Anybody who knows Paisley well, and if you come, if you're at the airport or you're coming up from Inshinnan and you want to go back, say, to Renfrew, but without using the White Cart Viaduct, you have to go all the way into the town centre and round the ring road and all the way back out. Now, anybody who knows Paisley knows that junction is hell on earth, especially with all that big retail development that went in a few years ago.
Yes.
So this is going to allow you to cut the corner, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then you can head straight up towards the airport and this news, so it's tying the whole thing together.
Yeah.
There's something called the Garrow Hill Link Road, which will use the former railway underpass to provide a crossing under Renfrew Road from Garrow Hill for the new school and on towards the bridge. Now, I know you're looking confused, Stuart.
Yeah.
I can't find maps.
Yeah.
The whole project doesn't seem to be presented that well on its website of like, here's the master plan, here's this phase.
Yeah.
It just seems to be a lot of collection of newspaper articles. But they are also improving walking and cycling on Greenock Road and between Inshinnan Business Park and AMIDS, which that's the bit they've done.
Yeah.
You know?
Now, was there not supposed to be some road bridge built into the Babcock site from the airport side across the White Cart?
Is that...
I know they put a footbridge in.
We've been on that.
Yeah, but the bridge is there, but...
Is that the one that goes to the Westway?
Yeah, but it doesn't go anywhere, does it?
No, it doesn't. It's the pointless bridge. They built it and you can't use it to get into Renfrew.
Why?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because maybe they just wanted it for that development. It's something I didn't look into, but I definitely know it's happened.
And can you get into Westway from the bridge? Is there access to the industrial?
I think you can get into parts of Westway, but basically it's not a thoroughfare. You can't use it to skip across from there.
Interesting.
Maybe it's a part of the planning permission for it. They didn't want all the extra traffic going down that way, and
maybe possible. Yeah,
it's just it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we know it. Look, we live in an age now where common sense doesn't apply ever. So yeah, it's probably something to do with some planning permission. Work started on this, by the way, in November 2025 at Renfrew Road, so there is traffic management on there, I believe.
Right. Okay.
And expected to last a year. This includes resurfacing and rebuilding of the footway by the college. The Gower Hill link will be completed by spring this year, apparently. But again, I can't find much on this one. I'm very tempted to go and have a drive round here and see what I can see.
We'll need to go nosy in and see what's going on.
Yeah. The most impressive component of this is probably the new bridge over the cart with the big. That's certainly when you Google this, that's what comes up.
It'll be a bowstring arch.
Yes.
Bowstring arch. Yeah.
That's what it's called.
Aye.
Bowstring arch.
Yeah.
That's it. Right. Moving on. Spoke about this one before, but there are some news. This is the B714 upgrade. So this is the Dalry and Kilwinning bypass road,
right?
Which is completely funded by Levelling Up funding for North Ayrshire Council.
Mm-hmm.
And spoken about it before, and I'll just say what the road is again to remind people. This is sort of an extension almost of the existing bypass of Dalry, that provides a link between almost the existing bypass and the B714 road, which includes an upgrade on the B714 itself. Because the thing is you can carry on the A737 and you end up in Kilwinning, which is not ideal. A lot of people, what they do is they take the B714, which takes them down. I think it brings them out at Sharp Hill roundabout on the A78 on the Three Towns bypass.
It does. That's right.
So you can go down that way. But anyway, they want to improve this. So phase one has had its so there's two phases to this, and they've split them up to have them funded separately. Phase one has had its business case approved, and I believe the contract to construct has been given to Wills Brothers as of January 2026, and it's valued at 23.4 million. So Wills Brothers are doing this one.
Good.
What does it include? This will get you. You'll like this.
Right. Okay.
Realignment of a 3.5 kilometre section of the 714 between Gurt Hill Farm and a proposed roundabout on Kilwinning Road adjacent to the Hill End roundabout, which is the one on the A737.
Okay.
So you'll actually have to turn off the A737, you'll arrive at another roundabout, and then you go onto it.
Mm-hmm.
Realign junctions, improving visibility for vehicles in the B714 and those waiting to join the 714. A 9.3 metre wide single carriageway cross section comprising of two 3.65 lanes, so that's motorway width lanes, with a 1 metre hard street each side between Gurt Hill Farm and Craighead Farm. And you'll like this is the bit. An additional 3 metre wide overtaking lane on the uphill gradient between the proposed roundabout at Kilwinning Road and Craighead Farm.
Right, so they
it's
are
2 plus 1.
I think they're envisaging trying to get some traffic out of Kilwinning with this, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the aim. Preparation works are going to be starting very soon, so I'm told. So it'd be like fencing off of the site and all that sort of stuff in the utility versions, with main construction works underway this year. So probably by the summer, and they want to get phase one completed by. It's quite ambitious. This autumn 2027. Right,
so that's only about 18 months away then.
Yeah, and Wills Brothers are busy, to be honest with you. I know that they've got quite a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Now,
that's one we need to visit.
Oh, it's cool. Yeah, it is, and it's all levelling up funded. Some people have said, "Oh, I take it that's going to be the new A737." Then no, they're not changing the number as far as I know.
Okay.
This one. Now, phase two. What's that? Phase two is the upgrade of the rest of it. So that B714, they're going to have. They're basically going to align it, bring it up to modern standards, widen it, safety improvements, but they're also going to build an absolutely cracking sort of cycle path alongside it.
Yeah.
Usual thing with these roads, active travel corridor, I think they call it.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not sure of the date of that because that's going to be agreed as part of a separate funding package. So yes, they want to do it, but that might not come for another several years.
Right, okay.
You know?
Well, so that's good. Maybe the first part will be done and everybody will see how great it is and they'll push for the second stage.
Exactly.
Yeah. Very good.
Do you know the only thing I don't like about it is I just wish it was a trunk road scheme. I wish it tied in with Hill End Roundabout. Continued and went off.
Was a straight line. Yeah.
Sort of the council going and doing their own thing, and but I suppose it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
But
small steps.
Yeah. Right. We need to talk about Sheriff Hall.
Everyone's favourite.
Yeah, come on, we'll get it out of the way.
Sheriff Hall.
So, A720 Sheriff Hall roundabout. The gem in our road network. Transport Scotland's plan, in conjunction with the Edinburgh City Region deal, funding in part to provide basically a flyover at Sheriff Hall. They've decided what one, right? The option's been selected, but there has been some wrangling with this lately with Edinburgh City Council and some opposition, and I believe it's probably because they don't want the money spent on it and something else. The council's transport boss has given his backing, though, basically had said, no, it's going to be happening.
Yes, well, they're building so many houses south of Edinburgh.
I'm surprised that Edinburgh transport boss came out and said that, to be honest. He's not always struck me as a guy who's particularly pro-road. In some regard, he's sort of seen this as essential.
Okay.
You know? Groundwork investigation for Sheriff Hall was actually done ages ago, back in 2018, 2019,
right. Okay.
Which formed the design. So it's good to go. There doesn't seem to be much news about it lately, but guess what? Scottish Government, with that infrastructure investment paper, has remained committed to it.
Yep. So it's a full commitment. And I know that the public inquiry is all complete and concluded. I think the reporter's report is with Scottish Government, as far as I know.
Yeah. Not quite expensive job. The only issues, I have two problems with this. It's going to be disruptive.
To build, you mean?
It will.
Yeah.
It'll be one of these ones that'll be painful when they're doing it. And the second one is, are we just going to shift the problem to Old Crick Hall? So, yeah.
Don't know, maybe.
This is
although it's been improved recently, hasn't it?
Has been. So we just have to look at that. Anything you want to add about Sheriff Hall?
No. Not familiar enough with that part of the world, John. I mean, when I use the city bypass, it's once in a blue moon. It's
I had to use it the other day, and it was pretty horrific. Heading eastbound on the queue up to it, but joining it seems to be okay if you're coming from one of the roads that's not the A720. Weirdly enough, but yeah, it's not one I'm keen on. I just want rid of it. So we'll talk about the Avon Gorge. Remember, in Christmas I spoke about this, and now here I am speaking about it as well. Just went and seen if there was any updates on this. So now, they have added some lights there at the junction with the road from Linlithgow on the A801. So this, just to remind everyone, this is the road between the M9 and the M8 that cuts between the two motorways, and it goes through something called the Avon Gorge. Now, it's very high quality, either side of the Avon Gorge, but the section through the Avon Gorge, well, yeah, it's not high quality.
Yeah.
And it has quite a narrow section of road. It's had problems with accidents, and it's had maintenance issues as well. So there's always been this ambition to plug that gap using a large viaduct or bridge. So I think this project is dead, Stuart.
Okay.
You might disagree. You might know something I don't. But there are three bodies here: Falkirk Council, West Lothian Council, and Transport Scotland, who are trying to fund it. Falkirk Council and Transport Scotland have agreed to some funding, but West Lothian haven't.
They seem pretty resistant to the scheme.
Yeah, and I think it's because it's something that probably benefits Falkirk more, given they have Grangemouth. But the situation is Grangemouth, as you know, is changing.
Yeah.
You know, the importance of that site and stuff like that. And I think that might be that combined with the fact they've put these lights in now, and that's actually addressed some of the issues at that junction, could be the nail in the coffin for this one. The problem is it's just expensive because of this large viaduct. I know WSP have done a lot of work on designs and stuff, but I just don't think this will come
just
about.
Not a priority for.
It's not. If it was a trunk road, yeah, but it's not.
Okay.
Transport Scotland and the Scottish Government are quite sensibly in a position of, it does sort of serve trunk roads either side, and that's probably why they want to put some money towards it.
Yeah.
But
it keeps traffic away from Newbridge.
Potentially, yeah. I'd like to see the road trunked, but you know, it's not one of those things.
if you're an Aldi or a Tesco and you've built massive distribution centres in that,
and there is one at
West
Whitburn.
Lothian, at Whitburn, and you're looking to ship your goods northwards, then a nice improved A801 would be very helpful for you. And they're in West Lothian. Okay, they have the M8, but improved links are never a bad thing.
It's a very useful road. And it would be nice to have the gorge upgrade, but the thing is with the gorge upgrade, it doesn't provide a capacity improvement.
No,
it's just a safety improvement.
It's a safety improvement. It's removing. It's like the Ors Road, isn't it?
It's basically what it is.
It's just removing all the awkward bit. I'm glad those traffic lights have gone in there though, because that must make a huge difference.
Does much better, and they're timed perfectly and brilliantly well.
Right.
And the whole thing there is like it's like a blind summit when you approach that junction.
Yeah.
Before it was like you had to have your head on a swivel, but it is nice to have those lights there.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's something in the meantime.
But I'm a bit depressed about it all because I would have liked to have seen that, but I think it's dead.
I think because we know that it was originally planned to be a dual carriageway link from end to end.
Yeah, certainly was built that way.
Yeah, it could have been a nice expressway, standard road between the two motorways. Yeah.
I just think it's missed its window of opportunity.
Well, that's it. I mean, a lot of the industry and stuff that sort of drove the development of the road in that part of the world is all long gone, like the car factories and all the rest of it. So
and Grangemouth's future seems to always increasingly be in question.
Yeah.
But stick with this part of the world. We have some good news because although it's taking ages, but this is the A904 Westfield improvement in Falkirk.
Oh yes, aye.
Yeah, Falkirk Gateway project. Now this is costing around typo here. You'll love it.
Right,
£40.
Oh god,
there's meant to be an M there. 40 million to improve junctions and widen the A9 to dual carriageway. It's funded in part by City Deal and the council, but this is another job that Balfour Beatty have been working away on for ages. It started in 2023 and it's still going on. I'm not entirely sure of the completion date, but I do look forward to seeing it once it's done. So this is it's dueling parts of the A9 and the A904. I do believe this was also part of a package of improvement works for Cadgers Brae, the junction. Was there not signals put in?
Because that's been improved quite a bit with the signals there.
Yeah.
They've made a few improvements around Falkirk Town Centre because it's very busy.
Yeah,
it is a busy piece.
And it's also where the stadium is.
Part of their network, yeah.
Just wonder why it's taken so long.
That's online, isn't it? Utilities and the usual things.
Do you remember that utterly bizarre spaceship-looking footbridge thing they proposed for one of the roundabouts there?
Yes. It's all dead now.
Yeah, somebody was smoking some funny stuff, weren't they? Right. We don't do this very often, but we're about to talk about the A75.
A75, all the way down there.
Yeah, and we're going to speak about it twice, but this is my last one. Unless I can think of anything else, but there has been some really good news that came out a few months ago about the A75 Springholm and Crocketford improvements. So this is a trunk road.
These are the last two towns on the route with no bypass.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's absolutely right.
Okay.
It was back in March, I think, they announced that they were looking into bypassing these two towns on the A75. Funding is going to be a joint effort between the UK and Scottish governments, and that's what you can see on the website. And it's, I think, isn't that part of some national connectivity strategy? Because the A75 is seen as an international route because it's Northern Ireland.
Yeah, it's the main route to Northern Ireland.
So, that's why the UK government are involved in this one.
Yeah, because the A55 in Wales, that's more the link to Ireland.
Yes.
Whereas the A75 is the main link to Northern Ireland.
And Scotland, and then, of course, to England. Currently, they're looking at 3 options to provide offline bypasses for Springholm and Crocketford all in one go, which involve either a 2+1 wide single carriageway or, wait for it, dual carriageway.
Wow.
They have 2 options. They had a public exhibition at the end of last year, and to gather feedback. I think you can't provide feedback anymore because I was looking at it yesterday. But you can go and look at Transport Scotland's website, and they show you all the exhibition boards. So they've kind of whittled out some of the route options, and yeah, it's all going to be there. They are going to DMRB assessment stage 2, so sort of develop these things further. I'm not really in a position where I can anticipate when this is going to start, because sometimes these things can go quite quickly, but in the case of the A96, some of this stuff happened like 10 years ago.
Sort of hits the buffers, yeah.
And then it's sort of like, right, okay, it's ready and it's just sitting there.
Yeah.
Probably a while there. I do think it's a great project, and as you say, bypass the last 2 sizable segments on the A75.
Well,
see if they make that dual carriageway, it's another good overtaking opportunity on that road. I don't know if the A75 should be dualled from end to end, but a bit like the A9 in some regards, it's nice to have another bit that you can get past those long convoys of HGVs.
And that's often the frustration there. When you if you're heading towards Carlisle and you have missed or just past when the ferry has arrived and there's hundreds of trucks heading for the M6.
Yeah.
Not pleasant.
No, exactly. Exactly. So, do you think I've missed anything with these city region or even trunk road schemes?
Don't think so. There's nothing in the borders that we're aware of. There's nothing really in Ayrshire beyond the one up in the north you spoke about. South Lanarkshire, nothing really that we're aware of.
Do you know what there will be? Lots of little developer ones like, we're putting in a roundabout for our new massive housing estate.
But no significant project.
Not significant enough, yeah.
We know there's not really much happening in Stirlingshire or any of these areas, or Fife or anywhere either. So no, I think you've covered everything.
I would say sure people will be asking in touch, but we'll do one of these a year. We'll probably come back to this in January 2027 and see how this is all going.
So, well, that ties us in nicely then to the From the Archive feature
because
for this episode.
Just spoke about this,
yeah. Duncan has asked that we reveal the A75 Gatehouse of Fleet bypass booklet. Which covers the opening of that scheme back in January 1986, so it's 40 years ago this month that it was opened by the Secretary of State for Scotland, Ian Lang, at the time. And like these two schemes that John's just discussed, that added a significant improvement to the A75 generally. Obviously, I think it had passed through a couple of pretty busy towns. Narrow sections of the old A75 all bypassed a great scheme. So we'll put that up on the website in the usual place. So it's scottishrroadsarchive.org/roadscast. You'll find the download link to view the booklet at the bottom of the page. And the reason Duncan is so keen to include this one, firstly, the 40th anniversary of that scheme. Secondly, because we have a podcast on the history of the entire A75 coming up later this year.
Oh, you've said it. So, now we'll have to do it.
So I think he's leading on that one, is he?
Yes. Yeah. He's putting in a massive amount of effort into sort of like researching all the things. Because we don't have all the knowledge on this, so
no, we won't. So there'll be a lot of work getting done there.
So his sleeves rolled up with that one.
Yeah. So that's good. So yeah, it's a good wee booklet actually. You know, the 1980s booklets tend to be quite interesting. It's not overly long, but it gives you enough of an information.
I'm a 60s booklet man myself.
Yeah, I prefer the old stuff as well, but it's worth having a look at just for some info there. No doubt Duncan will cover the detail of that scheme when the podcast comes later in the year.
It's good we've actually got that booklet though.
Yeah.
Now, because again, a few years ago we didn't. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We've gathered a lot of stuff in the A75 recently, which is good. So we are turning our focus to other parts of Scotland as we move forward. So Ayrshire, Dumfries and Galloway borders. There's more to talk about there. So you can expect much more of that. It's in our next phase of things that are coming. So that's great. So have a look at that as well. John, we've been talking. That's an hour already. Can you imagine? Time flies by.
Oh no, trying to keep it under an hour. I do apologise.
So much information to pass on, which is it's obviously great. Useful update there though, and it makes you wonder. You think we're not really building anything, then you realise there's so much
actually loads
happening
that are going on.
Yeah.
The big projects take that notice. Obviously, glaring one. We haven't spoken about the A9 at all. That's on purpose because you guys are going to talk about that separately. But yeah, loads of things are actually happening on if you go and look.
Yeah. Okay. Big thanks to the sponsors, as usual, East for the Excavations, Andy the team there, and HBS, Nigel and the team there, thank you. And of course, CIHT Scotland for all their generous support of what we're doing as well. John, we'll be back again soon. You have an A78 podcast coming up.
Yes.
That's a big one you've been researching, so we have that, and then we have some of these other ones coming through the year, so we hope you stick with us. You're still enjoying the podcast. We're continuing to do these in person.
Absolutely.
As we will do now going forward.
It just seems better.
It does. And we'll see you all very soon.
Yeah, we will. Thank you very much for listening. Bye-bye.